Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And what I have for you here on screen is a T-Mobile fact sheet. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys could check out this fact sheet for yourselves. So the networking piece, which is the first piece that you're seeing on screen, that's always debatable. It's very region specific, very location specific. But what T-Mobile is claiming here is best in the world at connecting customers to their world. That's been their mantra for some time. The overall network leader, again, that's debatable. They're basing that off of what Ookla is reporting in OpenSignal. T-Mobile reigns as nationwide overall network leader and largest, fastest, and most awarded 5G network. Again, that's very debatable, and many of you will debate that in the comment section. So what's interesting here is the expandable addressable market. That's a very important piece to the overall guidance and the T-Mobile success moving forward. They have to really address these addressable markets because they've been underpenetrated, pretty much non-existent. As a standalone, T-Mobile realistically, I'll be honest, they had about a 2 or 3% share in business. In small market and rural areas, they were non-existent just about. So this is all new growth to the company. So the small market and rural areas, that addressable market is 50 million households. And the outlook shows expected to increase market share to nearly 20% by 2025. So they got 12, maybe 18 months left to hit that guidance on that addressable market to reach that nearly 20%. So in 2024, they have to really ramp up the execution and really grow the share in small market rural areas. T-Mobile for Business, that is an addressable market of 50 million plus corporate liable lines. The outlook for that one expected to increase market share to nearly 20% by 2025. Again, that one, they have to be at an accelerated win rate to get to the 20% because they were very underpenetrated in that segment, especially when it comes to corporate, big enterprise accounts, government. They really don't compete there today still. I mean, they're getting some lines, but they have a ways to go to get to that nearly 20% over the next 12 to 18 months. So look for T-Mobile to get very aggressive on the business side. And then here we have the high-speed internet, the fixed wireless access. That addressable market is 90 billion plus annual industry revenue that T-Mobile is now competing for. That's mostly a revenue stream. That's a big one, though, for the company. And that outlook, again, we talked about that in several videos. They're expecting to add between 7 to 8 million customers by 2025. So at the current win rate, that addressable market is almost filled in. Within the next, I would even say 12 to 14 months, I think T-Mobile gets to at least the 7 million. So the extra capacity piece, that's done and over with. There's not much more left for them to fill. So recently I saw a quote, not a quote, but I saw a caption that Mike Katz put out that we are getting ready to compete beyond wireless. So that could be, again, I'm speculating here, but that could be them getting into the fiber game in a bigger way. They recently talked about that not too long ago, saying that they would make a bigger splash into fiber. And I think this might be the pivot. The fixed wireless access, there's not much left for them to get. If they want to go beyond the 7 to 8 million, they have to invest bigger into millimeter wave. They have to invest actual capital beyond 7 to 8 million to really grow that business any further. There's no ways around it. The extra capacity model will no longer work beyond the 7 to 8 million. If you get to 9 to 10 million and now you're in the double-digit growth, I mean, you're taking on a ton of usage onto the sectors that they can probably no longer handle at that point. So you have to densify, you have to millimeter wave it, you got to do a bunch of stuff to really grow that business. And at that point, as I stated in a previous video, doesn't it just make sense to go with fiber? Remains to be seen, but we might see that in 2024. So the 5G category expansion, deepening relationships to grow ARPA, average revenue per account. So they're looking to do that. And then margin accretive data devices to grow in the 5G era. So this is where I feel T-Mobile's strategy is better versus Verizon's. Verizon is choosing how to grow, right? They're not, of course, Verizon knows what they're doing. These guys that are in these positions, They didn't just get there coming off the street. They got degrees, they are smart, but the way that they're growing might not be the most effective way. The growth that Verizon is looking for is margin growth. They want the customer to join Verizon that's going to pay the premium price. That doesn't help them because it's not growing in volume. So they are having a harder time attaching and growing other stuff and other services that they offer. So that's where T-Mobile, I feel, will win in the long term because they grow in bulk. So now they can sell the smartwatch, they can sell the tablet, they can sell smart glasses if that ever comes, right? If they ever get, I don't know, the Quest 3 in the lineup, they can sell that as a service and attach 5G to that. And whatever else that comes out of innovation that is the next 5G use case, T-Mobile can sell that to a bigger rate because they're growing at a bigger volume. They just grow in more bulk. They grow now like Verizon used to grow. Verizon used to get 1 million net adds. If you guys don't remember, they used to get 1 million net adds per quarter. This was in the early days. Can you hear me now? That's when Verizon used to grow and really explode. Not anymore. That's now, this is now the T-Mobile era where they're growing that much. But that's when Verizon was really disruptive and they used to challenge the status quo themselves. But that's changed. But I feel the strategy is better with T-Mobile because growing in bulk allows for the reps to be able to sell all of the other services that are offered and attach that onto the account, which is going to lead to a higher average revenue per account, which is a key part of T-Mobile's strategy to continue bettering their balance sheet. So industry-leading financial results. I mean, we've gone over that several times. That's continuing to happen. Unlocking merger synergies. That's already pretty much done. So what I wanted to also look at is the outlook for the financials. So if I want to start off by saying if the FCC data is to be believed, and I know it's a bit outdated. It's about 6 months outdated. But if we go to the June 2023, T-Mobile is about 20% behind in overall coverage of the United States landmass. If we get an update in June of 2024, T-Mobile's bigger, great. If not, T-Mobile will have achieved these financial results with having the smaller network still today. And likely, even if they accelerate, even if they grow coverage, they will likely still be the smaller network at the end of 2024. But they're executing. They know how to sell what they have. They know how to work with what they have, and they are accelerating, and they do it very, 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 very well. So just a refresher, right? Looking at the service revenue, $70+ billion by 2026. That's absolutely huge. Look at the core adjusted EBITDA, how that's going to continue to grow. Right, that's going to grow to $36+ billion by 2026, right in line with the competition. And then again, the free cash flow, that's literally equal. This year, at the end of next year, when T-Mobile gets to that between $16 to $18 billion free cash flow range, they will post the same free cash flow as the competition. So again, they're doing that with less coverage. So look at the upside. What if T-Mobile can get to closing the gap on that 20% of coverage? Where does that put them then, right? And then we have the 2026 guidance, $18+ billion in free cash flow. I see that number going to $20 billion. That's a 2-year gap where T-Mobile is going to continue to grow effectively. That's going to go to $20 billion, I feel, with ease, maybe even 21, 22 on the free cash flow. So again, T-Mobile financials strong. The outlook is strong. They have lots of room to grow. The addressable markets get them to nearly 20% on rural and enterprise and business. They still have 20% of coverage to grow to be able to further expand that addressable market, at least in small market rural areas, which also you could make the argument that FWA will continue growing as they expand the addressable market on coverage. there's still markets out there today that they don't have any coverage in, where they could gain coverage in the near future. I see T-Mobile, and I'll leave you guys with this video. I mean, with this last part to close out the video. I see T-Mobile expanding very aggressively on their coverage over the next 12 to 18 months. I think that'll be the most aggressive expansion, and that will be the closest that we will ever see T-Mobile to competitively competing against the size and scale of Verizon and AT&T. So make sure you guys stay tuned. This will be in the description so you guys can check it out. Like, share, subscribe if you're new. Follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. See y'all in the next one. Peace.